Well, it looks like the wait is finally over because Donkey Kong Country Returns HD is finally out. Oh yeah, also the Switch 2 got revealed. This is interesting. So, if you've been following Nintendo news over the past 2 weeks, then you know that we have gotten pretty much everything about the Switch 2 leaked. I would argue that the biggest leak was the actual reveal date for the console, which is obviously today, January 16th, 2025. And the reason I say that that's probably the biggest leak is because all the other leaks just kind of confirmed what, previous leaks had said before. We got the controllers leaked, we got like CAD files of them leaked, the specs have been known for a long time. The actual power of the console's been known for a long time, but the actual reveal date's kind of interesting because, a console reveal does not happen every day. It doesn't happen every year. So it is kind of weird and a little disappointing that, that kind of got leaked. It was really weird because yesterday was pretty much a waiting game. Everyone was stalking Nintendo's Twitter, so that, they could see Nintendo reveal that we're going to be hearing about the Switch 2 today, and that never came because they decided instead to shadow drop it today, which is why I woke up like an hour after it came out, surprised that, oh, wow, they've got a special announcement. I do believe the way that they did this trailer was in a way to combat the leaks. Usually they would have announced something the day before that they were going to be doing this, but I guess because we already knew, there really wasn't a point in doing that, so they kind of still kept it as a surprise because I'll be honest with you, I've been up for maybe, 30 minutes at this point. Obviously, a bit longer with this video actually being out and publicized, but, waking up and seeing that being like, oh, wow, they actually did decide to do it. I do think that had to do with the leaks because, just of how predictable it was. I actually thought last night before I went to bed that they may not reveal it because, it got leaked and they were just going to push it back to another date, but no, they actually stuck to the January 16th date, which is, really interesting, and, now we have our first ever look at the Switch 2. And it's pretty much everything that the leaks have been saying for the last couple of months. There really wasn't anything too surprising here. It really, honestly, just kind of felt like an obligation to kind of make this trailer. I'm sure most of us were expecting something very similar to the initial Switch reveal back in 2016. I know that's what I was personally looking forward to. But no, this just kind of felt like, oh, we're making a new console. Here's what it looks like. Here's how it's different from the original Switch. It comes out this year. Honestly, I think the best comparison I could make to it, it feels more like the OLED model trailer than an actual Switch reveal trailer, which is completely fine. I mean, it gets the point across that this is a new Switch. I mean, obviously no one's going to mistake this as like, oh, it's just an upgraded Switch, even though it is, but it's like a super upgraded Switch. But yeah, it just felt a little underwhelming. It pretty much was just, confirming everything that we had heard before. What's probably the most interesting, at least for me, is that although the leaks and, everyone was saying that if we get this reveal this week, and specifically today, it was just going to be the console and no software, I knew that that somehow was not going to be true. When people say that no software is going to be revealed, that really means that software is not going to be the main focus of the reveal. But when showing off the Switch 2, you're obviously going to want to show off at least one or two things of what it's going to play, and fortunately that's exactly what they did because we got our first look at the new Mario Kart. It's crazy that we still don't know if it's going to be called Mario Kart 9 or Mario Kart X, but it looks really good. I will say that kind of looking at this trailer a couple of times already, the new character models, that's a weird move because we've had the same character models, they've just obviously have been upgraded over time, over the years, but to get kind of like completely new ones is really, really interesting. Yeah, there isn't really too much to say, but the fact that, we got our first look at the new Mario Kart probably confirms that this is going to be a launch title for the Switch 2, which is something I'm really, really excited for. Other than that, though, we got confirmed that the Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatible with the original Switch, which is definitely cool. It's definitely something that's also been leaked a bunch, and something that's just been kind of expected, especially considering that this was going to be a successor to the Switch. The Switch got away with it because, number one, the Wii U sucked, and number two, it wasn't using discs. So if the Switch 2 was going to be using cartridges like the Switch, I'm sure that they were going to do backwards compatibility with it because it would be kind of stupid for them not to. I am a little interested on how they're going to do the digital downloads for games. That's, something because I own a bunch of digital games along with physical games. I'm sure there's going to be an easy process in which to do that, but I'm sure they'll explain that at a later date. And then obviously at a later date, they're going to have a Nintendo Switch 2 dedicated direct, which is actually kind of interesting because this might be the first direct where we really the last direct that we get anything related to the original Switch, which I think is interesting because, going back to the early days of the Switch 2, it took us until probably 2018, maybe even 2019 for us to finally get our last bit of 3DS stuff stuff in the Nintendo Directs. I get it, you know, the Switch 2 is just an upgraded Switch, and it's like it's going to be the new console. It's not like we were still getting Wii games for the Wii U, or I guess first party games, you know, for the Wii while we had the Wii U, although they probably should have done that given the track record of the Wii U. But that is something very interesting that I noticed as well. I know I don't sound as enthusiastic as I typically do in these kinds of videos, and that's honestly because I did just wake up. This was the first thing I saw. I collected my thoughts for a couple minutes, and then I made this just to get this out as fast as possible because, you know, it's obviously a hot button issue right now because we've all been waiting for this, but also because the Switch 2 reveal really was just a confirmation of everything that's been leaked over the last couple of months about the console. So, you know, there really isn't too much new news that we can, you know, actually really talk about. I am very excited about the new Mario Kart game. But that's really honestly about it, because everything else we kind of knew, and even then with Mario Kart, we also did kind of know. So if we had gotten, you know, Mario Kart or a new 3D Mario kind of shown off in this trailer, I don't think anyone would have been too surprised. I was just happy to finally see it, because in terms of software, we haven't seen anything, we've heard things, and when it comes to software, seeing things is more than just being told things about it. But yeah, I am very excited for this console. It looks like the fall 2025 release date is going to be more true than not, because I can tell you now, the April 2025 release is not going to happen. I think it's going to happen between, or at least the release of this console is going to happen between June and I'm going to say October of this year, which is interesting because I made a video like less than a week ago talking about how it could maybe be released in April. That's obviously not possible. I am looking forward to that Direct. I am looking forward to everything Switch 2, obviously, because I've said before, the Switch is kind of slowing down. If you want to talk more about the Switch 2, I actually did come out with like a more, you know, official video like 2 weeks ago talking about my most wanted games for the Switch 2. Spoiler alert, Mario Kart, or the new Mario Kart we just saw was the #1 spot, which is very interesting that a game was very quickly kind of confirmed on that list. Hopefully more kind of confirmed when we get the Switch 2 Direct in April. But if you do want to see what I hope to see on the Switch 2, I would totally go check out that video. But again, thank you all for watching. Yeah, Switch 2 is finally out. Wow. Oh yeah, the mouse thing was also confirmed. What the fuck?